BTS News Today. The evening sky at the military base was filled with the sound of heavy steps, the rustle of the wind carrying the scent of pine, and the eyes that don't want to look away. In the midst of the hustle and bustle of hope and farewell, Jungkook stands with his military uniform still looking brand new, but the look on his face tells a million stories. It was not an ordinary day for BTS or ARMY. It was the day when the last hug was given, when tears can no longer be contained, and when one long-hidden truth is finally revealed by Taehyung, the figure that has always accompanied, protect, and loved Jungkook in silence as well as in the light. Jungkook, the golden meanie who has been known for his cheerfulness, his spirit, and dedication, looked different that day. His face lowered deep, his eyes puffy, and the usually steady hand is now tightly grasping his military jacket, as if holding back so as not to collapse in front of everyone. The hug he gave was not just any hug. It was a hug that marked the end of a phase, and the beginning of that journey is not necessarily the same in that embrace. There are thousands of unspoken words. There are thousands upon thousands of them, thousands upon thousands of them, and thousands upon thousands of them. Taehyung, who was standing right in front of Jungkook, unable to hide his emotional shock. His eyes were glazed but full of strength. He returned the hug tightly, in a way that not only calms Jungkook, but also convinced himself that all will be well. The hug became a symbol of everything they had been through together, from grueling workouts since trainee days, nights full of tears and dreams, to the pinnacle of success on the world stage. Taehyung, better known by his stage name V, not just group mates, he is an inseparable part of Jungkook. They shared laughter and hurt, in a way that only they could understand, and by the ARMY who faithfully followed their journey from the beginning. After that hug, when Jungkook started walking leaving the open area to his new place of assignment, there was such a long pause felt. Time seemed to stop, letting every second record the expression of both. The cameras captured the moment, but none of them is able to perpetuate its true taste. For the taste lives only in the hearts of those who watch with love, but the surprises didn't stop there. Moments after Jungkook disappeared from view, Taehyung took a step forward. He stood in front of a number of media and staff. His eyes are still red, yet there was a firmness in his voice that left everyone transfixed. In a calm but determined tone, he delivered something that made everyone present speechless. He reveals that he has a big plan, which he had prepared in silence for the past few months. A plan that will not only change the course of his life, but it will also be the greatest gift he has ever given to the ARMY, and to someone he loves dearly, Jungkook. Taehyung opened his speech by thanking everyone who has supported BTS, especially to the ARMY who never tired of giving love and passion in every step of there. He then went on to say that during this time he pondered a lot, especially when serving military service. In the silence of the barracks, in the pauses of training, and in the long nights he passed by himself, there was one thing that kept bothering him. What kind of legacy does he want to leave? What does being together mean after it's all over? And can such a great sense of love really survive in such a limited time and space? It was those questions that prompted him to make a big decision. He revealed that he has prepared a personal project that will not only be a work of art, but it also became a deep emotional legacy. A documentary, which is not just about her, but about the deep relationship he has with Jungkook. The film will contain personal footage, writings from the daily journal, a confession he had never made publicly before. Taehyung says that in every BTS trip, there are invisible bonds that form the foundation of their group. But not all ties can be described in words. His relationship with Jungkook is one of the most complex, the most beautiful, and the most painful at the same time. He wants the world to know how two people can love each other, take care of each other. They also sacrifice themselves for each other's happiness. He wants the world to know that not all love has to be explained, and not all separation is the end. The big plan wasn't just about the movie. He is also preparing an interactive art exhibition that will open after he completes his military service. The exhibition will feature works of visual art, paintings, sound installations, and those fragments that represent the deepest feelings that can never be spoken in front of the camera. One of the most emotional parts of the exhibition was a room titled "The Last Time I Hugged You," which describes the meaningful moments between him and Jungkook over the years. Taehyung's sudden confession and plans make social media explode. The hashtags #TaeKook #LastHugJK, and #TaehyungBigPlan are trending #1 in various countries. Armies from around the world responded with a variety of emotions. Many shed tears reading Taehyung's confession transcript, especially since they know how important Jungkook is to Taehyung, and vice versa. Those who have long believed in the depth of the bond between the two, feeling that all their intuitions finally get confirmation. One of the comments that went viral on X, Twitter, reads, "I always knew there was something more than friendship between them. But today, I see love in its purest and most human form." Jungkook's last hug and Taehyung's plan left my heart broken and whole at the same time. But it's not just fans who are moved. Many cultural figures, art critics, until the international media began to review the emotional and artistic impact of Taehyung's move. Many refer to it as the love recorded in the history of modern pop culture. Some media even called this project a turning point in how the world perceives the relationship between the members of the boy band, especially in the context of emotions that are undefined by conventional boundaries. Behind all this, Jungkook has yet to give a direct statement. But from those closest to him, it is known that he cried on the way after the hug. He said to one of the officers, "I knew he was up to something, but I didn't know it was this big. I didn't know he kept it to himself for so long. I just wanted to say, I also have something I want to show her. Later, when I get back." The words became a sweet riddle that ignited hope. Will there be a surprise return from Jungkook after this military assignment? Will the two work together on an unprecedented emotional project? One thing's for sure, that last hug moment and Taehyung's grand plan have made history in BTS's journey. He not only shows the human side of global superstars, but it also teaches that love, in all its forms, deserves to be celebrated, told, and respected. When the night began to fall and the lights of the base were turned on, the shadows of the two figures were still imprinted in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. In a world that moves so fast, sometimes a hug can stop time. And in that embrace, Taehyung and Jungkook have said everything. Without having to say anything, the army is waiting. Not just news from Jungkook in the military or artwork from Taehyung, but it's also the continuing story of two souls who have given everything for each other and for the world. Because the last hug is not the end, but rather the beginning of a new, more honest chapter, bolder, and more electrifying. And for anyone who has ever believed in the power of true love and friendship, this story isn't just about BTS. It is about all of us who once loved, lost, and hoped again. That night, the world seemed to pause to make room for the tears that fell in silence. Behind all the camera highlights, behind the cries of the media vying to compose dramatic headlines, and behind the cold and silent walls of military barracks, there are two hearts still looking for each other. Jungkook sat alone on his stool that night. His hand held a small picture folded in his wallet. The photo is an old one, of her and Taehyung, laughing out loud in between choreography rehearsals, with the sunset as the backdrop. He smiled a little, then looked down, let the tears fall slowly to the ground. There are no words that can represent how deep the relationship is. Friendship? Love? Soul brother? Jungkook could never label him, and maybe it's not necessary. But one thing is certain, Taehyung's last hug that afternoon, who has resurrected all the moments that he had kept in his heart. Meanwhile, Taehyung, who has returned to his dorm, sitting in front of a small laptop that has been with him for several years. He opened a secret folder that he named Untitled Dreams.